I had the opportunity now to speak before you. Before I go into the topic, I would like to share an experience that I had a couple of years back. 2011, I lost my father, and he was into the Air Force. And soon after that, I had undergone kind of a lot of health problem. And when the doctors kind of diagnosed me, they told that, it's difficult to say how long you are going to now live. And that was the point of time that I realized that I had actually been living a life which is very different from who I am. And Nikhil just now brought out a point which I had particularly liked, that we need to be missionaries in our life and not mercenaries. The fact that I realized is that the lot of things that I used to love doing, the time that I used to like spending with people had become so less. And I had all got focused into work and probably a little more ambitious also. That was a point of time I thought that I should start doing the things that I want to do in life. And to me, success became more of doing what I want to do rather than trying to be somebody else. When I was in college, I used to be in NCC, National Cadet Corps, and I was in the air wing, and we used to go for running. And my father once was standing close to where the finishing line is, and I had a lot of difficulty in running and reaching that point. So he shouted and told me, "Run with your mind." At that time, I did not get the significance of it. But now when I look back, I realize that when you want to do something, you need to be very passionate about about that, what you want to do. And you need to put your mind and body both. And that is where I feel that sports has a huge connection with leadership. The other thing that I'm very passionate about is coming from a defense background family. I feel that military teaches a lot of leadership aspects as well. Now, life is about progress. And if life is about progress, then what is it that matters to us the most? It is our performance. We all the time prepare so hard with what we want to achieve, what is the outcome that we want to kind of drive out of it. But what we miss out is to prepare, to have mental drills, to prepare ourselves to work collectively, to create a collective vision, to create a collective thought process which will take us. All of you know the World Economic Forum report of last year. It talks about two very important things. There is a decline of social skills worldwide, and particularly in India, the numbers are even less. We have now become technology oriented, which is good, but at the same time, we are losing the connect with people. And that's something which is, kind of playing out. Sports teaches us to have commitment. You take, for example, the South African cricket team. They had gone through all ups and downs, but they remained committed to what they had to do. It is said that, you should fear the man who has practiced a kick 1,000 times rather than the man who has practiced 1,000 types of kicks. Because the more you practice, the more you are committed, the more you have your confidence and you feel that you can do it. Life is just not about success, it's also failure, and sports actually teaches us that. When I used to play football, I realized that it's all about going up and down, but finishing at a higher level. We will look at some of these aspects as I go forward. It also builds your character. And by character, I mean your own substance, your own ideas, and what you want to do. There is a huge difficulty. And when I travel, meet people, a lot of HR people do share this, that yes, this is probably one of the problems that people have. So sports is one of the ways that you can use as a learning and development intervention, which will help you to connect your employees, to bond, because just a team is not enough. The Aberdeen Report 2013 talks about this as the most significant thing in the coming years. I was earlier mentioning to you about the World Economic Forum report, which talks that as the world becomes more integrated, technologically more connected, the most important thing that's going to make a difference is the ability of different societies and countries to work together. We are going to face new problems, and those new problems is going to require very different kind of solutions than what we have. This reminds me of I shared two things. Recently, 2 years back, there was a study in UK, and those of you who are familiar with football, they will probably know this, that they studied that which are the footballers who are most successful, who are paid more, who are able to translate their knowledge into action more, and they realize the people who play with both right feet and left. Now in football, either you are playing left or right. So people, and this is something that you train and learn over a period of time, you practice. It's very difficult to do at a later age. Once you become a senior player, it's more easy to do things at a younger age. This is one thing that is very, very significant. Knowledge by itself doesn't make any difference today. It is the ability to translate that into action that makes a lot of difference. Sports has a very unique model of dealing with communications. And what is it? Sports helps you to understand the ecosystem around you, and by ecosystem I mean the people, to empathize with them, and to understand what are the interdependencies that you have, where you need to work together. Sports is perhaps the only area, apart from, as I was mentioning to you, the defense forces, where everybody is a leader in his own right. I remember an interview of Gautam Gambhir, I think a year back or so, where he mentioned Gary Krishner, and he said that he had a conversation with him during one of his IPL matches, and Gary made him understand what is the significant thing Gautam is bringing on to the team. And that's the point of time Gautam felt that he is significant. He's just not a piece of thing in the whole system which is kind of doing. This is very important because most of the time we fail to appreciate what others are doing for us. And this leads to the factor that there is no human connect between people there. Sports is a very brilliant way of helping people understand the meaning of trust, respect, and cohesiveness. Look at the IPL teams. You have people from different states, you have people from different countries taking part in that, and yet they are able to find out ways to work together. There is this story of the 1936 Berlin Olympics, where in the pole vault event, there's an American who got the gold medal. And there were two Japanese who had come, and there was a tie between them. The guy who finished first had cleared 4.5 meters, and these two guys had both achieved 4.25 meters. The two guys were Oi and Nishida, and Nishida had achieved this in the very first instance. So the judges felt that he should be given the silver medal, and Oi, who had been able to achieve that 4.25 meters in the second trial, was given the bronze medal. Once these two people went back to Japan, and they decided to go to a jeweler and get their medals split into two. And the guy who had got the bronze gave half of it to the guy who had got the silver medal, and half of the silver came to this guy who had got the bronze medal. And this, from that point of time, became to be known as the friendship medal. In our willingness or in our desire to achieve, sometimes we forget the fact that we are actually destroying relationships that we have invested for over a period of time. We lose connect with our friends, we lose connect with our colleagues, and we start looking at them as ways and means of achieving what we want to do. And that's where the complexity starts. Sports is a very unique way that people play together. They have completely different skills, and yet they are able to do what they want to kind of achieve. A lot of people who come across and talk to me, they say that, we have a lot of talented people, but what we don't have is the attitude. And this is very important to understand that discipline and dedication, these are two things which has no alternative at all. Look at New Zealand. It's a very small country with, the population of 1/10 of what India has. They produce equally good cricketers. And therefore, you have to understand that it's very, very important to have attitude also. This is the leadership fitness model that I call, and basically it talks about number of things that sports brings together. But one instance or story that I would like to share with you is Ricky Ponting. He is among the 3 cricketers in the world who has got highest runs in Test cricket. And in Master Strokes, when he was interviewed, he said that he was asked this question: that how did you score? What is the secret of your success? And he mentioned that normally a batsman, when he is batting, he looks at the field and he maps all the fielders, and then he tries to score his strategy or put his strategy accordingly. I used to see the gaps, and therefore I use those gaps to score. There is opportunity in everything. There is opportunity in every challenge. If today we have, as learning leaders, we face a challenge of energizing people, helping them to learn, get to do more, then that's actually a big opportunity. I was starting this initially with the fact that of social intelligence. Unfortunately, our schooling system is very highly oriented towards passing examination rather than learning. I don't know how many of you know, 57 young kids have lost their life in Kota preparing for. Yes. So is this the kind of society that we want to build? Is this kind of people that we want to, have in the corporate world? And as learning leaders, I think many of you go to institutions, many of you talk over there. This is something that we collectively need to drive. There's a report of Australian Commission on Cricket which talks about how barriers. Sports is a very big enabler. It doesn't see whether you are a man or a woman or which part of the country you come from, what color you are of. It can unite people in a very unique way, and this is very important in a globally driven organization where people probably sitting in Paris is at the back end of somebody who is working in Bangalore. This is what I was talking to you about, that sports can be a very good, especially for the engineers whom you are bringing to your organization or the young management trainees. Try to inculcate this right from that time so that they are able to do different. There is a concept that has now got developed which is called brain biology, and brain biology talks about that if you make healthy choices of your health, there's a relationship between happiness, health and performance. Basically we have got neurochemicals in our mind which triggers and which leads you to have better behavior, thoughts and feelings, and ultimately that's what helps you to perform better. So therefore, playing is the best way of learning, is what I feel. Now coming to the end of the session, what is the role of L&D? I've written 2 very interesting articles. You might just log on to Google, and one is in Business World and the other one is in People Matters, where I've spoken extensively on these 2 topics. And I believe that we have to move from being efficient to effectiveness. This is what I was mentioning about the education system, about the way we are so focused on the performance that we are forgetting that what is it that enables performance. To be able to perform, we need to know what to do and how to do. And for that, there is an entire linkage of health, happiness, and performance. I'll end the program with one last story. This is a story about a guy from Nagaland who played only one match in IPL. And after that he was asked this question, that you have only played one match in IPL and so it's a great failure, I believe. And he said, no, I have actually succeeded. I could go there, play the match, meet all the people as a 16-year-old whom I used to admire and watch them on TV. And now in Dimapur, I teach the young people who want. So there is, at least in Nagaland, there is one cricket school. Life is not about trying to become something. It's about doing something. And in the process, people become successful. My father, who was in the Air Force, taught me one thing, which is, quality and practice leads to success. There is no alternative to these two things. And at the end, what motivated me to come and do this presentation? Because it's very unlikely for an HR guy to talk about performance and all those kind of things. I was walking with my son Ishan, he's 12 years old, one day, and he said, there are very few people in my school that who are interested in games now. He plays football, cricket and badminton, all the three sports, and he's very good at that. And I realized that there is something significantly wrong. Is this the kind of society that we want to have when we leave this legacy behind for them to handle? We need a society, a country which is fitter, which is mentally happy and performing. So that's a note that I would like to leave you with. I think all of you have great influence, and as learning leaders, you can make a difference. I feel very strongly that all of us collectively should do something about it. And not only in the organizational space, but wherever we can influence, we should try to bring this habit of sports. And thanks a lot. And at the end, I would like to dedicate a song to you.